Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah, Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He has talked about and mentioned many times in many verses of the Quran about the sabr, about patience. So did the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in many ahadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recommended us to be very patient by worshipping Him, by remembering Him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ راجعون أُولَئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَّبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ وَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ. We will test you. We will truly and definitely test you. We will test you with fear. We will test you with hunger. We will test you with shortness of wealth and money. وَالْأَنفُسِ. And we also will test you with the souls. وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. And the fruits. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. after all these tests from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He mentioned in the ayah, He gave glad tidings to who? To the sabirin, to the ones who are patient. الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة. If a calamity has happened to them, what would they say? They will say, إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. To Allah, and to Allah only we will return. What is their reward? أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will praise them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will mention them with His angels. وَرَحْمَةٌ, and Allah will have mercy upon them. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ, and they are the guided ones. They are the ones who will be guided. روى ابن سعد في الطبقات المطرف رضي الله عنه نزلت به مصيبة فجاءه من يعزيه فقال وما لي لا أصبر وقد وعدني الله بثلاث خصال خير من الدنيا والآخرة. الخصلة الأولى أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم. الثانية ورحمة. الثالثة وأولئك هم المهتدون. Ibn Sa'd, in his book At-Tabaqat, it's a book of hadith, he narrated that Mutarrif Ibn al-Shakhir radiallahu anhu, one of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a major test has happened to him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him as He tested all the Sahaba and the companions. And I will mention some of the examples. So a man went to him and he wanted to make him feel comfortable. He wanted him to make him feel at ease about the calamity that has happened to him. But he was happy. He was comfortable for what Allah wants for him, or what Allah chose for him. So Mutarrif told him, you say, I have to be patient because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned three of the most better qualities of the ones who are sabirin, of the ones who are very patient. The first quality is, that was mentioned in this ayah, أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. Allah will praise them. Allah will remember them in His Mala al-A'la, up to the seventh heaven with His angels. Allah will praise them. That's number one. The second quality, وَرَحْمَةٌ. The sabirin, Allah will bless them and have mercy upon them. Remember those three qualities and put them in your heart. Because if you are patient, that's your description. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose for you. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in His book. The first one is, Allah will praise them. The second one is, Allah will have mercy upon them. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ, which is the best ever gift from Allah. That He will guide you. So you will come to Jumu'ah and sit here and listen to the khutbah. Because you were guided to come to His house. Because He chose you to come to His house and remember Him. And make salah on His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And pray and make wudu and come clean to the Masjid of Allah. All that because Allah chose you to sit here. وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُهْتَدُونَ. That's how Allah finished this verse. Those are the guided ones. Those are the guided ones. We ask Allah to guide us and to keep us firm in His deen and to follow the sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The scholars have said, as-sabr huwa al-ata'u al-mahmud. The sabr, the patience, it's a gift from Allah. Not anyone can have the sabr. Not anyone can be patient. When you see the person and you know him that he is patient and sabr, is when a calamity happened to him. Is when a crisis happened to him. When a serious major accident happened to him. That's when you know who is the patient from who is not the patient. Because he will use his knowledge. Basically, he will use more his iman and his faith in Allah, and he will know what Allah has mentioned in the Quran, and he will know what his messenger has told him about the forgiveness of the sins for the ones who Allah tests them in this dunya. Because that's what it is, brothers and sisters. It's a major test. It can be your wife. It can be your daughter. It can be your son. It can be your parents. It can be your neighbors. It can be your very, very, very close friend to your brother. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ فِتْنَةً أَتَصْبِرُونَ أَتَصْبِرُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we made you. Between you, it will happen the fitna. Among you, there will be fitna. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks a question after that. أَتَصْبِرُونَ. Will you be patient? When all these fitan and calamities and crises, when they happen, that's when you know the believers, the strong believers from non-believers, or the ones who are weak in their iman, or the ones who don't understand why do they even exist on this planet. What is the reason? Why are we here? Number one, obviously, that every Muslim knows is the verse in the Quran. I have created men and jinn to worship me. When we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with knowledge, we fear Him more. Our iman gets increased. That's when you call yourself a believer, a strong believer. Because you realize and you know, why am I here? And what am I doing here? As-sabr, brothers and sisters. The patience. We have to have patience. In all types of our worship. Ramadan is coming. And it's summertime. And it's hot. During the day you get hungry, thirsty more. Because of the heat. You open the fridge and you see the cold bottle of water. But you don't drink it. Because you know that somebody is watching you. That your Lord is watching you. But Allah is looking at you. Above, on His throne, above seventh heaven. He's looking at you, He's watching you, He hears you, and He's tasted you. And that is why He says that as-sawm innahu li wa ana ajzi bih. That fasting is for me. And I will reward my servants because of that. You don't feel what the shaitan is whispering in your ears. But you see the results afterwards, and then you remember and you stop and you say, SubhanAllah, what did I do? This is Ramadan. And there are Muslims out there who eat in Ramadan, and I've seen them with my own eyes. Do they fear Allah? Do they know that Allah is watching them? And then they have excuses. I'm sick. Or I couldn't handle it anymore. Fasting is mandatory upon every Muslim, every adult who reaches puberty. When you are sick and really sick, then you can eat. Not because just you have a headache, you can go and drink water. Or not just because you have a little pain in your knees, you go and eat. Scholars have said sick like bed sick. You can't get up. And you've been diagnosed with a serious condition or a disease with the approval of a doctor. That's what sick is really means, sick. We can now take this deen easily.